Thank you, John, and congratulations to Alabama. Alex Perlman with 11-time All-American Kennedy Baker as Friday Night Heights continues here on SEC Network. Arkansas and Kentucky, two teams absolutely on the rise. They are both hitting their form in the middle of this season, and it is truly anyone's meet. For Kentucky, 5 10-0 start values.
Which is great. It's a spot you want to be in. Not all vaults start from a 10-0, and Kentucky has 5, so they've got a little bit of an edge, and they're going to use that edge tonight to get a super high score, hopefully at home.
Arkansas also only has 2, so here's an advantage right off the bat here for the Wildcats at home. 12th in the country on vaults as Jillian Prokowski, the sophomore, gets us going.
Yurchenko full, great stuck landing, so much distance from the table. That is an excellent score for Kentucky. They will use that. However, that doesn't start from a 10-0. It starts from a 9.95, so the highest score she can get is a 9.95. But again, great landing, and she'll probably get a pretty high score on that.
Kentucky's head coach Tim Garrison tells us so many times Jillian Prokowski sticks the full, and she does it again. Callie Swaney will start for Arkansas on bars. 3 freshmen in the lineup, and they had a bit of a road bump at the beginning of the season, but head coach Jordan Weaver told us they're figuring it out.
They are figuring it out. It is hard. You know, the freshmen are up. They've got 3 freshmen in the lineup, and that is a challenging position to be, a freshman for the first time at an away meet. You want to be on. It's hard to be a freshman for the first year of college. So to be able to hit on the road is super important, and it helps set you up for the SEC and postseason meets. Super huge release move in the beginning. Was a little leaned back actually on that transition to the high bar. That's why she had that arm circle. That's going to be a little bit of a deduction there. Solid landing on that dismount. Great recovery after that slight bump in the middle of the routine.
Here's how a college gymnastics meet works. There are 6 gymnasts that go per event, per rotation. 1 score is dropped, the lowest, so the highest 5 count. And when you talk about Kentucky, they're the home team, so they will go in what's called Olympic order: vault, bars, beam, and floor. It is the inverse for the away team, Arkansas. Next on vault is Mackenzie Wilson, the sophomore from Clinton, Tennessee, still working on the score for Jillian Prokowski to begin on vault for Kentucky. Wilson tied her career high with a 9.875 last week. Another consistent performance for the Wildcats a week ago. They hosted Eastern Michigan right here. Their 3rd straight meet in the 197s with a 197-125. And if you want to handicap this meet, Arkansas and Kentucky had the same exact score last week.
It's going to be close. Huge front handspring, front pike half off. A little bit of a hop back, but great form in the air. Solid score for Kentucky.
And the first of 5 10-0 start value.
Correct.
Vaults.
Yes, she does a front entry vault with that front pike half. That's going to start from a 10-0. And like we said earlier, you want as many 10-0 vaults in your lineup so you can get the highest score possible for your team.
And that's following up Jillian Prokowski's 9.875 in the leadoff on vault for Kentucky. Jensen Scalzo, the junior from Fort Lauderdale. This is her only event. She's already competed bars 27 times in college.
Which is great to have experience under your belt. You don't want to, especially on the road, you don't want to go into these meets with no experience. Huge Jaeger to release move right there. Super dynamic. Setting up for the dismount. Double layout with a slight hop back. Great control on that landing, and following up that last routine with that slight bobble in the middle, that's exactly kind of what you want right after that, because that sets up the rest of the lineup to feel confident to compete.
And trying to drop the 9.675 from Callie Swaney. Remember that bobble, that wobble where she had to do the arm circles off the parallel bar. Well, Swaney with a 9.675, and now we'll see what Jensen Scalzo comes in as. Mackenzie Wilson with a 9.9 just before Ariana Patterson. That's a new career high for Wilson. And Patterson scored a 9.8 or better every vault this season. She's a heavy hitter in her 5th year for Kentucky.
Right handspring front pike off. Great landing. Even clicked her heels together. I'm going to give her the stick on that. Solid vault for Kentucky. Kentucky. They're just building off of that momentum. And that's exactly what you want to do. After you have that first routine, you just want to build and build and build. No mistakes for this team so far.
And so that should be a very good score with Magnelli, Worley, and Bork still to come, all capable of high numbers for Kentucky on vault. They've got 9.8, 7.5, and 9.9 already. Jensen Scalzo's score was a 9.8 on bars for Arkansas. Now here's Reese Trotar, one of those three freshmen that Jordan Weaver has relied on this season for the Gymbacks.
Shaposh, right to a shoot over, straight to the handstand, very good. Setting up for the dismount. Another sky-high double layout for that Arkansas team with the beautiful stick at the end. And they're just building off of that momentum.
Jordan Weaver, the architect of this Arkansas team that is looking for a huge road score. The fans are out, the Hog Hats are there. They've made the trip from Fayetteville and beyond to support the Hogs. So this is a crucial meet because only one more road meet coming for the Gymbacks. And now Isabella Magnelli following up the 9.95 from Ariana Patterson. Magnelli's career high is a 9.95 as well.
Slide step back, a little too much power on that front handspring, front half off, but great control in the air and great form.
For Tim Garrison in Kentucky, they have gone above 197 the last three meets, 4 of the last 5, but if they don't start hitting in the 197.5 and better area, they might miss out on SEC evening session, and he told us that that is a big goal for this team.
Absolutely. They're looking to work on the little details. When we talked to head coach Tim Garrison earlier this week, they are not just doing no fall routines anymore. They're looking for no mistakes at all routines, and that's what they want to put out on the floor tonight. They want consistent routines that have very minimal mistakes, so they will be in a great position for those SEC and postseason competition.
Here's Maddie Jones. Reese Trotar just set her career high with a 9.95. They're trying to still drop that 9.675 from Callie Swaney for Arkansas.
Beautiful pack salto down to the low bar.
She stuck her dismount last week. Give her another.
Wow, that was great. They are doing awesome with these landings. They've gotten hit after hit with these double layouts. They're spotting it. Their form is beautiful in the air. Huge release move. That was a piked Jaeger, and straight up to handstand. You can see she's within that margin. That's exactly where you want to be to get the least amount of deductions. Beautiful stick. She's so excited about that, as she should be.
Oh, absolutely. And Arkansas, technically, when you look at the rankings, it's their weakest event on bars. They are showing why that is going away very quickly. Rayna Worley, our first look at the all-arounder. Is that a 10?
I saw 110, 110.
By the Arkansas reaction, it might be Rayna Worley now.
Huge 1.5. Great 1.5 for Rayna Worley. Just a slight hop, but she had great amplitude off the table, and she saw that landing, so just a minimal deduction there.
Both teams performing incredibly. Not quite a 10 for Maddie Jones, but a big score nonetheless. Rayna Worley, we'll see her in the all-around. She's ranked 12th in the country this season, and it goes down as a 9.95 for Maddie Jones. So back-to-back for Arkansas, 9.95s. Jamie Pratt, the last of the freshmen to go, dropped her 9.8 last week. And she is a bars specialist, her only event tonight.
Sometimes when you're a specialist, it actually feels like more pressure because you don't have the luxury of doing the other events and you're just kind of waiting for that one event. It can feel like more intense sometimes when you're in that role, but she's doing a great job here. A little short on that last handstand. Looking to get a solid landing on this dismount. A little too much power, had too much rotation. That's why she took that hop back.
And so at the moment, they can still drop the 9.675 for Arkansas's Callie Swaney. And Bridget Borg will finish off, the freshman from Pinellas Park, Florida, who has been in and out of the lineup. It's really dependent on the warm-ups, according to Tim Garrison, but she gives them their 5th 10-0 start value, performing a Yurchenko 1.5. And what a rotation this is. This is going to be massive score no matter what coming up here for Kentucky. A 9.825 in her collegiate debut on January 27th, the only vault she's done this year.
A slight step forward, a little too much power. She had great form in the air, though. You can see her legs are squeezed together, and she just, had a little too much power. That's why she had to take that controlled step forward, but it was controlled, so.
And so we await Bridget Borg's score. Nora Flatley will finish off Arkansas on bars in rotation number 1. The score came in as a 9.75 for Jamie Pratt, which means they need to count that score. And Callie Swaney's can still be dropped, though, the 9.675.
What I love about Nora is that she does unique and interesting gymnastics. You're going to see right here, she does an eagle grip into a release move, which is kind of backwards with your hands, right into the Jaeger. Beautiful. That is extremely challenging. You have to have really flexible shoulders to be able to do that. Kudos to Nora.
The UCLA transfer playing out the twilight of her gymnastics career and says she's never been happier.
Beautiful dismount. I'm going to give her the stick on that one. She was a little lean back, but I think she finessed it pretty well, so I'm going to give it to her. Beautiful form in the air. Her legs are squeezed together, her toes are all the way pointed.
No matter what Flatley's score is, Kentucky is going to lead after the first rotation of 49.5, which is their highest vault score in program history. We'll tell you how both of these teams are building for the future when we come back to Lexington. One rotation down in Lexington, and what a way to start for Kentucky at home. Their best ever vault rotation in history. A 49.5 in front of a great crowd in Memorial Coliseum. Hi there again, Alex Perlman, Kennedy Baker with you. And we know that Tim Garrison wants his team in the evening session of SECs. How do you do it? Just like that. I mean, that was incredible.
Yes, absolutely. They had a lights-out vault rotation. They're going to look to carry that energy throughout them in the competition so they can get to that evening session in the SEC competition.
And also, so you need to be in the top 4, and that's really important, right?
Absolutely. It's so important to be in the top 4. Arkansas is looking to do the same thing. They're working on the little details, fine-tuning, getting those landings, and they need to carry that momentum through the competition.
And right now on the outside, looking in both Kentucky and Arkansas. For the Gymbacks, they are on the road, so they have a great chance to get a huge score here tonight.
Absolutely. They could hit and get that score that they need to get into that SEC second session, but they have to hit, and they know that. So the pressure's on. They need to have a lights-out vault rotation and then do the same thing on floor and beam.
Why it's for national qualifying score, and you have to have 3 road scores. That's how we're going to rank heading forward. They only have 2 opportunities tonight against Kentucky and then at Georgia at the beginning of March. Well, we know that the Wildcats are looking to put up big scores. They want to be somewhere in the mid-197s at worst tonight.
Absolutely, and we talked to head coach Tim Garrison, and he said this team is capable of a 198 plus, and if they keep that momentum up from vault, they could achieve that.
They have already set a program record with a 197.825 this year, but the top of the 6 scores when you factor in NQS goes away. They're trying to either replace that or to get one that's even better here tonight. It is absolutely possible, especially when you start off with a 49.5 and a new program record for Tim Garrison and Kentucky on vault. We've got the second rotation on the way. And for Arkansas, they will head to vault, where freshman Lauren Williams will anchor the Gymbacks. And then on bars for Kentucky, Shaylin Luxick coming off a career high last week. After one rotation, Kentucky up by 1/10 in 3/4 after their best vault rotation as a school, Arkansas has some work to do as they head to vault, where they also are at a little bit of a disadvantage with only 2 start values that are 10-0.
That is a big deal, too. We talked about it earlier, how Kentucky has 10-0, 5 10-0 start values, and that kind of gives them a little bit of an edge. Arkansas knows that they only have 2 10-0 start values, so they have to hit very solidly their Yurchenko fulls or whatever vaults they're doing that start from a 9.95 this evening.
Here's Cami Weaver coming off a career low 9.7 in the leadoff spot last week. Trying to put that behind her. Tore her ACL in her first collegiate vault last year, out for the rest of the season. And back competing this year. What a start for the Razorbacks.
That was great. Her feet were so close together, too, when she stuck.
And Jordan Weber told us she's been training a 1.5, but scoring just as well, if not better, on the full.
Jordan had told us that earlier this week. She is capable of a 1.5, but her full is so clean, and we just saw it. I mean, why would you change that when it's such a good landing? That's exactly what Arkansas needs to start off their rotation.
And so Kentucky to bars. They had a 49.375 last week. It was their strongest event of the night. Haley Davis has been inserted into the lineup. She was not part of Tim Garrison's 6 on this rotation last week against Eastern Michigan.
Huge Jaeger there, opening release move, straight to a shoot over handstand. All the way up on her last pass, that was excellent. On her dismount, just a little knee bob, but I'm gonna give her the stick.
And so a great way there for Kentucky to start. Last week, they finished with 3 straight 9.9s, all of them sticks. Nora Flatley, 9.8 last week. She's consistently on vault between 9.8 and 9.85 this year. Her career high is at 9.9 back at UCLA.
Yurchenko full, a little too much power. That's why she had that hop back. Clean form in the air, though.
Kennedy, there's a lot of energy inside this arena, especially after Kentucky's first rotation. How do you harness that and bring it into the next one?
You have to focus. You actually have to rein in your energy a little bit, especially for events like bars and beam, which is where they're going next after bars. You have to really be on. You have to rely on your teammates, and you have to ultimately trust the training that you did before this.
Bailey Bunn, 9.85 last week. She was an all-SEC member as a freshman, but sidelined with a knee injury after 4 meets last year. Is a huge part of this team, especially on bars. She was hounding Tim Garrison to get her back into the lineup. Such a calming factor, though, having a veteran there on bars.
Setting up for the dismount. Perfect stick. She knows it. She's so excited.
Glued to the mat, and this is coming off of Haley Davis's 9.85.
Building off that momentum. Another slight advantage with Kentucky, they do have an older team. They have a lot of upperclassmen in the lineup. We were talking about energy earlier. The upperclassmen know what it's like to have a great rotation and to want to build off of it versus letting it tear you down. And she did a great job going up next with that energy.
Arkansas swimming uphill just a little bit, down that 10th and 3/4 coming into rotation number 2 with Leah Smith.
Beautiful Yurchenko full right to a stick. That was excellent. Really, I mean, that was like a clinic for a Yurchenko full.
And the second straight week that she stuck.
Yes, and she got great distance from the table. So far away from the table. Her legs are glued together. Her chest is up.
And so for Arkansas, a 9.9 and a 9.85 to begin. This is where the Razorbacks need to make up that ground. If they can have a big score on vault with all those Yurchenko fulls, those 9.95 start values, they're right back in this competition.
Yes, and it's easier to build off that momentum if they have a solid vault rotation, and they're doing that.
This is Annie Reigert's only event. Dropped her 9.8 last week, and following up a 9.85 and a 9.9 from Bailey Bunn. Bunn setting a new career high tonight. which is something we've said a lot already. We're only midway through rotation 2.
A little step back on that dismount. She had a little too much rotation. Very pretty release move. She had so much flight in the beginning of that.
And so Frankie Price follows up Leah Smith's 9.95, a career high for her.
Frankie is looking to build off that momentum that Leah just did. A 9.95 is a great score. I mean, that's exactly what Arkansas needs to build off of that score and have a great rotation for the rest of this rotation and the rest of the meet.
A 9.95 is perfect. That's a perfect Yurchenko full right there.
Yeah.
So you cannot do better with that start value than Leah Smith just did.
I said when she vaulted, she put on a clinic, and that's exactly what she did, and Frankie's looking to build off of that. Yurchenko full, a little too much power, had that hop back, but very controlled.
I want to make sure we give Leah her due, because you see so many 10s now, and you think, hey, that's the best score possible, but no, it was perfect for Leah.
Yeah, that's a perfect score. That needs to be hyped up just as much as a 10. No deductions were taken at all.
And so following up Annie Reigert's 9.775 on bars for Kentucky is Caitlin de Guzman. Other than that, a 9.85 and a 9.9. So if they can drop the 9.775 from Reiger, it could be another massive rotation. This one on bars for Kentucky.
All the way up on that first handstand. That was excellent. Jaeger straight to the shoot over. All the way up on that last handstand as well. Even held it for a second. That's exactly what you want to see. Beautiful dismount. The arena's going crazy. That was a good routine for Kentucky. A great follow-up as well.
Had a 9.9 last week. Only competed the first 5 meets last year because of a knee injury. But she has not gone below 9.825 on bars this year. We talk about consistency with the Wildcats. And on bars, it doesn't get more so than Caitlin de Guzman.
Absolutely. She's been building off of that and it's so good to see the payoff and to see her confidence just go up every single week. The more routines you get under your belt that feel good, the more confident you can be and the easier it is.
All right, so here's the first of 2 10-0 start values. Yurchenko 1.5 for Mackenzie Sedlacek.
Wow! Another great landing for Arkansas. They're killing these landings. Oh my gosh. So much energy in here. I love it. The team's just as excited as we are. So exciting, so hyped. You can see head coach Jordan Weaver in the back, just so thrilled for her, and they should be. That was a great landing.
That could be close. That could be really close. And it's most likely going to break her career high of 9.9. Shaylin Lipsick now with only 1 gymnast remaining after her reign, Worley on bars for Kentucky. De Guzman's score was a 9.9 for the second straight week.
She was a little too close on that release move. That's why you saw her bend her arms a little bit more than normal. She's trying to get that height, but sometimes you misjudge it, and I think she just came in a little bit too close there. Great recovery, though.
Still trying to drop the 9.775 from Reiger. That'll help.
Beautiful landing. Clean stick on that double layout. Great follow-up. Excellent dismount here. Absorbs it, finishes.
This is high level. Both of these teams in the meat of their season, they realize how important it is to get big scores as you get closer and closer to postseason.
Absolutely. You just want to keep building off of your scores. And in the SEC, you know, it's so competitive with us. So everybody's doing a great job. So you have to be a little bit extra, have a little bit extra oomph, and bring that competitive nature out.
Freshman Lauren Williams gets the slight hop forward. Second among SEC freshmen on vault behind only Florida's Kayla DiCello, who got her first career 10 last week. Sedlacek's score was a 9.95 on vault, just shy of perfection, but a terrific vault, and that's the highest that we have seen so far tonight for Arkansas with Leah Smith. This is going to be a big rotation on vault for Arkansas as well. And now Raina Worley to finish off. They are still trying to drop the 9.775 from Reiger. Looks like score was a 9.825. Worley had a 9.9 in the anchor spot last week. Stuck her dismount.
Raina's gymnastics is so exciting. She's such a competitor. Really zones in every single event. Look at that handstand. Held it for an extra second. Her legs are glued together, squeezed. And that's what she works on in training. When Coach Tim Garrison talks about the little details, this is what he's talking about. Legs glued all the way together, feet pointed, knees extended. She controlled that dismount. I don't know if they're going to give her that stick. She was a little too lean forward, but great, great, great routine.
And stop me if you've heard this before. Arkansas now with a program record on vault of 49.525. This is as good as it gets in the SEC, folks. Coming up, an inside look at how we're welcoming Fisk University, the first historically black college or university to start a gymnastics program. As we continue to celebrate Black History always, we wanted to share the story of Fisk University, the first historically black college or university to launch a gymnastics program. Here's a preview of the story from SEC Network in partnership with Anscape.
Coach T is like a big deal in gymnastics. She was the first black gymnast to win the NCAA all-around. For her to come home with her own team, it was kind of like a full circle moment.
They're a first-year team, not just first HBCU, first for Fisk, first NAIA, first in Tennessee. There's so many firsts, but I think the girls who are on her team, they know that since she did it, she can help them do it also.
Yo, we just did it. We about to be on the floor. Let's get it done.
My dream ever since I was growing up in the sport of gymnastics was to go to an HBCU and be a gymnast. It's super fun to be a part of the team where all the girls are girls of color and we just share so much and we bond together.
Seeing them come together as a team, seeing us grow as a family, to see the smiles on their faces and for them to have those kind of moments. We go to meets and there's a whole team of young black girls who are like, I want to do college gymnastics now.
I know we are inspiring them, but they're also an inspiration to me too. This is something that little girls want to do, so who am I to let them down?
Overwhelmed right now. But, oh my God. I'm so happy that they could be on the same thing I did.
For me, it's significant. It's always significant. It's one more step forward.
To see the full video, go to SEC Network on Facebook, and to read the article by Anscape's senior HBCU reporter Mia Berry, visit anscape.com/HBCU.
The story of Fisk University is so inspiring, not just for the generation coming up, but for the generations that have come before. To see black athletes be highlighted and have more opportunities to compete is so crucial and critical. We've got Frankie Price in the building right now, along with Leah Smith, who both do the fist in their floor routine, a symbol of black solidarity. They had asked head coach Jordan Weaver if it was okay, and she encouraged it. And being comfortable on your team, creating that space, feeling like you can go all out in athletics is so important, and it's beautiful to see them do it.
And welcome to Fisk University. We are so glad to have you. Third rotation coming up. You don't want to go anywhere for Isabella Magnelli, capable of a 10 on beam and on floor. Need we say more? Arkansas's Frankie Price. We're halfway home in Lexington. Alex Perlman, Kennedy Baker back with you. Just a half-tenth difference. As you can see, Kentucky got their lead cut into just a bit by Arkansas. Each team has reset their program record on vault. Still two more rotations to go. And You literally cannot handicap this one.
This is such an exciting night. To see both teams build off of the momentum that they've built up is so cool. Arkansas had a lights-out vault rotation along with Kentucky, and they're just looking to get those details and those fine-tune those landings on floor and beam.
Kentucky starts off on beam with Shaylin Luxick. This is their best event, 8th in the country this season. A drastic improvement from last year where they ranked just 26th on beam. There's the emoji to start off for Luxick.
Everybody always talks about the anchor spot, but I want to highlight the starter because the starter is just as pressure-filled as the anchor spot because you are leading off the team. You have to start so solid so everybody else following up feels confident in their routine. If you start off shaky, it's hard to pick it back up. So you want to start off as solid as you can.
When you did it, did you feel that pressure?
I did. I definitely felt a lot of pressure going first, but I requested to go first. I liked going first. I thought that it was a good spot to be in. It helped me mentally. And I felt good knowing that I was setting up my teammates after me. Beautiful dismount. Gainer pike off the end. Stuck landing. Solid, solid start for Kentucky. That's exactly how they want to start their rotation.
Wildcats capable of that huge beam score of 49.5 or better. Good beginning with Luxick as Arkansas goes to the floor and she gets the boa. Not necessarily a stick boa, just a you did a really nice job boa. Maddie Jones will lead off a 49-2 last week, but they started on floor at the Metroplex Challenge in Fort Worth. So it must be nice to just get back in the swing of things. Even though it's a road meet, this is a little more familiar now to do floor in the 3rd rotation and not number 1.
Correct. And when it's a little later in the rotation schedule, you've got your energy a little more honed in, so you can go all out on the floor. When you have too much energy in the beginning, it's kind of hard to control it, but when it's further back in the rotation schedule, easy to control. Great opening pass there.
And Maddie Jones with a 9.775 last week sat down a bit on her first pass. Absolutely nailed it.
Not today.
Remember, this meet just about even. Arkansas trailing Kentucky coming into the 3rd rotation by just a half a tenth.
Beautiful and controlled 1.5 front layout there. This is going to be a 3-pass routine for Arkansas. We know that not all of their routines are 3 passes. Some of them are 2. If you have a 2-pass routine, you have to do harder leaps to get that difficulty up. Beautiful front Rudy at the end. Great start for Arkansas.
Next Friday night, another can't-miss gymnastics triple header. All 6 teams in the top 20. It's these Kentucky Wildcats in Florida getting us started 6 Eastern. 5th-ranked Auburn hosts the Gym Dogs, and then wrapping up the night with 16th-ranked Missouri and the 14th-ranked Gymbacks of Arkansas at the Barn in Fayetteville. Friday Night Heights, always right here on the SEC Network and on the ESPN app. Jillian Prakaski coming off of a 9.85 last week, a season-high 9.9 on beam for Kentucky to start with Shaylin Luxick.
Setting up for a series here. Handspring layout, her front foot was just a little too far off to the side. That's why she missed it.
And so Prakaski will have to shake this one off. Already one good score in for Kentucky. Luxick's 9.9. So it's not as if this is the leadoff and then you've got to hit 5 more times. But still, it certainly does throw off the rhythm, and hopefully Prakaski is okay here because she's in the floor lineup as well.
You can see right here, she just misses her front foot a little bit. She tried to save it and go back on, but it was just too crooked there. And her toes were faced a little too far in. You want them faced straight or a little bit turned out there.
And so it doesn't look like Prakaski can continue as she gets some work done there over by the beam. And so that really does put a lot of pressure now on the last four gymnasts: Bunn, Patterson, Worley, and Magnelli. So this has been a change in the script, certainly for Kentucky after they had absolutely dominated the first two rotations, but that's why there's four. Madison Hickey follows up Maddie Jones. Very nice 9.85 in the leadoff spot for Arkansas.
Great double pike opening pass there. I love watching her on floor. I think she's such a great performer. She plays up the crowd, and she has these moments where she just lights up in her routine, and I love it. Like there.
Built in and volunteer assistant and new choreographer Jackie Turpak works on all of these routines with the Arkansas gymnasts. They get a say too, and they've really fallen in love with their routines. You can see it by their performances.
Absolutely. The choreography is just as important as the tumbling. You have to play it up for the crowd, for the judges, and give a full-out performance. It's not just about the tumbling and the leaps. Double tuck, maybe a little too much rotation, a little too much power back. Not a super major deduction, but they will take off a little bit there on that last pass. This first pass was stellar. Double pike, super controlled landing. Her teammates lighting up in the back, all of their arms up in the air. You love to see it.
And now the pressure for Kentucky begins. Bailey Bunn, the junior from North Carolina. It's officially a 0 from the judges for Jillian Prakaski because she only completed 2 elements. And Bailey Bunn, though, won this event against Eastern Michigan last week. Tied her career high with a 9.925. That is really tough to do when Raina Worley and Isabella Magnelli are at the end of your rotation.
Correct. I mean, they have such a stellar beam lineup. Triple series there, a slight bobble, but she saved it, stayed on.
It's about hits at this point.
It is about hits at this point. Hitting is so important for this team, and it's a mental game, you know. It's hard to go up there after someone fell and continue that energy that you had before that, so. Setting up for a dismount here. Round off double full. Incredibly hard. She was a little crooked. Took off a little short. That's why she had that step out to the side. But great follow-up routine for Kentucky. That's a routine that you need to get back on track to what you were doing before.
Exactly. Stayed on the beam. Reset some confidence for the 3 that will follow her. And we'll wait on Bunn's score. Going back to floor for Arkansas, where they have a 9.85 from Jones in the leadoff, and then Madison Hickey with a 9.8. Bailey Lovett, a 9.875 last week. She's back for her 5th season. She's doing something that not many would even dream of attempting. She is currently in law school for Arkansas while competing and hitting as a gym back.
Huge double layout there, and it is so hard to balance school and gymnastics. So the fact that she's in law school is insane. She is so talented. It's incredible.
Jordan Weber told us that she wasn't sure if it was going to work, but told Bailey that I'm willing to help you figure it out. Starts her day at 10 a.m., gets her workout done quickly, and then right back to class.
Absolutely. Great job on her leaps there. Switch half to Popa. Setting up for this pass. Front lay through to front full. Great controlled landing. Excellent routine. Looking at this double layout, this was huge. The flight in the air, her legs were super glued together. Great control out of it. Beautiful, beautiful routine.
We are seeing some excellent landings specifically in the first two rotations from both teams, and it has translated for Arkansas on floor. Mariana Patterson, 8-9 last week. She fell on her acro series, but 9.85 the previous week at Missouri. Cannot afford a fall here. And she has to know that.
Oh, she definitely knows it. It's kind of funny because for Beam, you want to stay calm and controlled and collected, but it feels the exact opposite. So you're kind of fighting a battle up there. Beautiful on her acro series this time. Front aerial split jump, nice control.
And it not only matters whether Arkansas or Kentucky win this meet, but remember, score is so important with NQS coming up next week officially. And Kentucky is looking for a potential mid-197 score for Arkansas. Anything in that range on the road, that's going to pay huge dividends when it comes to the SECs and NCAAs.
It really does. And that's why when we were talking about head coach Tim Garrison, what they need to do, little details. It's the landings, it's the minor things. That's what's going to get them in that high scoring range. Switch leap connected here. And the amplitude she gets is stunning. She's above 180, showing off that flexibility. Another gainer dismount. Super good, very, very controlled.
Leah Smith following up Bailey Lovett's 9.9, which the scores are starting to build now for Arkansas. That's the highest of the rotation. And Smith, the sophomore from Spring, Texas. This is a special routine.
It is. Leah is so talented, especially on floor, and like we talked about earlier, she does the fist at the end of her floor routine, so really looking forward to see her performance. Beautiful front layout through to double tuck.
Leah, along with her teammate Frankie Price, which we've talked about in this meet, co-founded the Black Leadership Athletic Community called Black on campus at Arkansas with 9 other Razorback athletes. A group where they can talk about all their experiences and
yes, and that's
foster
important.
friendships.
Yes, absolutely. You know, Frankie and Leah talked about being the only black gymnast on the team and how important it is to have that community also outside of the team. And they have that at Arkansas, which is really nice. Double pike. Good control out of that double pike. Great routine from Leah.
And you'll see that Arkansas is wearing green and white bows. That is in solidarity for Michigan State. Of course, the terrible shooting earlier this week. And so in solidarity with not only the gymnastics program up there, but also the entire community. Raina Worley tied for 20th in the country on beam. She's following up Patterson's 9.9. At the moment, they will be able to drop the 0 from Jillian Prakaski. And not only that, yes, I guess that goes without saying, of course, but you want big scores when you're able to drop that. You don't want something like a 9.3 to count, which could completely tank Kentucky's chances of winning this meet.
Correct. There's a lot of pressure on Raina, but you can see her up there right now. She's singing.
Raina doesn't feel pressure.
She does not feel pressure. She is calm and collected up there. My karaoke queen. We love to hear it and see it. A slight bobble on that front aerial. Straight to the handspring layout. Usually she connects that front aerial through to handspring layout. You could tell she was slightly off on her front aerial. That's why she stopped for a second and then did the handspring layout. And had no deduction out of that handspring layout. That landing was excellent. Beautiful on that front toss. Great full turn. You know full turn is like the hardest part of your routine. So when you nail that, you know you're in the sweet spot. Round off 1.5.
That's a
beautiful stick. She sold it for sure. And I love it when they sell it.
This is really special coming up on Sunday. Our next meet, number 5 Auburn visiting 16th ranked Missouri in Columbia, Sunday, 6 Eastern, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Tonight is Friday Night Heights. Kennedy, we got to come up with a new name for Sunday. Sunday Night Saltos?
Super Sunday?
Super Sunday. That works too.
That works.
Here's Lauren Williams now, the freshman. From nearby Rogers, Arkansas. First in-state recruit for the Gymbacks in 10 years. What we've been told is paving the way for in-state gymnasts. They're young girls that are at local clubs that come to the meet and cheer their faces off for Lauren for what she represents.
So fun. I loved hearing about Lauren. And Lauren's a really big fan. She was a big fan of Jordan Weaver before she was her head coach. She has this huge blow up of her in her room, and I thought that was so cute. Jordan Weaver loved it as well. And she's just a fun athlete. She is so fun to watch. She has such a good time. She had a huge opening pass there.
And she flew out of bounds on that pass on podium last week at the Metroplex Challenge. So those passes that Arkansas had a little bit of trouble with last week, and we see being back on the floor, it's not an issue.
There's a difference between podium and regular season meets where you're not on podium. Podium is a little bit bouncier. You have to be a little bit more aware, and not a lot of athletes have gotten the opportunity to train on podium, and they don't get it until they come to NCAA. So that was probably her first time on podium, which makes sense about her first pass, but no issue today. Double tuck last pass, great landing. She's excited about it.
Yeah, she knew she nailed that one.
She did.
And following up the 9.775 from Leah Smith. They're going to hope to drop that score with Frankie Price still to come.
Yes. Double tuck right here. Great landing. And I love how she ended this. Yeah, I did that.
Following Prakaski's 0 on beam for Kentucky, the Wildcats have got 9.8, 9.9, 9.825. Looking for a huge, massive score from Magnelli, which she is capable of. Came one judge away from a perfect 10 against Alabama. She's ranked 14th in the country on beam. Took the anchor spot right away from Raina Worley.
She's so thrilling to watch on beam. Triple series right there. Nailed it. We asked her if she was looking to get a 10 this weekend, and what's funny actually about Isabella is that she gives her coaches corrections about her. She tells head coach Tim Garrison what she needs to do or what she thinks she needs to do better to get cleaner, perfect gymnastics. And she's just so aware of her gymnastics, which is a skill because not everybody is that aware of what they're doing. Completely capable of getting a 10 tonight.
There's a lot more confidence on beam is what she told us earlier this week.
Beautiful dismount.
That's why.
That was pretty good.
Because you can go out with a big hit week after week. Already 2 9-9s in the rotation for Kentucky. Do we have another?
Beautiful dismount there. She's got the boa on. She knows that was a great routine.
Arkansas with a badly needed 9.95 from Lauren Williams just a moment ago. That ties her career high. And here is Frankie Price.
Another big routine for Arkansas. Frankie is super dynamic on floor. Her goal is to dance bigger, is what Jordan Weaver had told us. So, great double layout opening pass. And she just puts on a show. She's playing up the audience, making eye contact, and looks like she's having a good time out there.
Frankie also tore pretty much everything in her knee before freshman year. Took a whole year to recover. This is her first season competing with Arkansas. Isabella Magnelli's 9.95 just came in for Kentucky. They are keeping the pressure on, and the 0 goes away. The lowest score counted is a 9.8. That is handling nerves in a major way.
I think they did a great job, you know, coming back after that fall with a super solid second half of that lineup. They did what they needed to.
What's it like for you to see Frankie competing at this level?
It's so cool to see Frankie competing at this level. We were actually teammates in club for a short period. She even has my floor music. And I got a 10 with this music, so I'm here for her to get a 10. Hopefully this season on floor with that same music. Great routine from Frankie. So fun to see her.
Arkansas trailed going into the second rotation. They cut that to just a half-tenth deficit in the second. Can they take the lead here on Frankie Price's floor routine?
Great last pass here. You can tell she spotted that landing. And finishes so strong with a little bit of sass.
At the moment, they're dropping a 9.775 from Leah Smith. Just waiting on Frankie Price's score to see what we have in store in the fourth and final rotation. Both teams are accomplishing their goals right off the bat, though. Big scores coming in for Kentucky across the board here at home. And we just wait on Frankie Price's score here in the floor routine. She got 110 from the judge, did not get 2. It's a 9.975, a new career high for Frankie Price. And this is about as close as we are going to get here between these two teams. What a meet. The Razorbacks flipped it as we go to the fourth rotation. It's Arkansas in the lead over Kentucky, but Kentucky is right there. Fourth and final rotation on its way in just a few. And back in Lexington, just a half a tenth difference. This time, it's the Gymbacks over the Wildcats as they have taken the lead going into the fourth and final rotation. Alex Perlman, Kennedy Baker back with you inside Memorial Coliseum. And this has been what Arkansas and Kentucky have both wanted to see. Looking around the conference, Kayla DiCello had her first career 10-0 on uneven bars. It's the first of, we would expect, many. Alabama's been killing it recently. 198s all over the place, and Aaliyah Finnegan is stepping up her game for LSU. Back-to-back meets that she has scored a 10-0.
We've got Trinity Thomas as SEC Gymnast of the Week. She's been so dynamic, breaking program records all over the place. Then we've got Darian Goborn as the SEC Special of the Week. She has a beautiful and dynamic floor routine. Following up with Kayla DiCello, SEC Freshman of the Week. She's just doing an excellent job as a freshman this year.
I'm really excited to compete. They always bring a really energetic crowd. It's going to be a great night, and we're going to bring it.
I think it's just really cool to be two SEC teams going head-to-head.
Their student section is crazy. I'm excited.
We compete together well because we push each other.
I think it's just going to be a great challenge and a great competition.
Does it get better than a Friday Night Heights triple header? That's what we've got coming up next week. Kentucky and Florida, Georgia, Auburn for the Zuni Lee Show and the Gymnasties, and then it is number 16, Missouri, heading to Fayetteville to take on 14th ranked Arkansas. It is as close as you can get in Lexington. We've got one more rotation to come. And we cannot wait for Arkansas to see Nora Flatley. She's been a queen of beam all throughout her collegiate career. And on floor, Haley Davis with a unique routine coming up. We are moving and grooving in Lexington into the fourth and final rotation between Arkansas and Kentucky. First two, it was all Wildcats, even though the Gymbacks were fighting, they were clawing, they were getting close. And then after that third rotation, Kennedy taking a half-tenth lead as they head to floor.
Arkansas right now is on fire. They're looking to take that momentum that they built up on floor straight over to the balance beam and have 6 solid routines. That's what they need to do if they want to come out on top. Kentucky also has to have a lights-out floor rotation if they want to take this.
Yeah, they are chasing, and for Arkansas, beam team that Jordan Weber thinks is around 49.5 at their best. Starts with Callista Gamyal. Tied her career high with a 9.875 in the leadoff spot last week. And so we go into the fourth and final rotation. You can start to compare, see what Arkansas does on beam, and then what the next gymnast does on Kentucky. And remember, of course, the lowest score is being dropped, so keep that in mind. But you can start to see which team is taking the edge. And as we get deeper and deeper, who has the lead?
And this is such a solid start for Arkansas. You want to be calm and controlled. It's hard to compete away on beam. So the more calm and focused you can be and act normal like you do in training, the better your routine's going to be. And she is starting them off so strongly. Opened with that layout, step out. Super difficult. 1.5 step landing. That's going to be a great score for Arkansas. They're getting these landings.
Something that the Gymbacks coaches have said has stuck for sure here this week. So now Kentucky heads to floor where usually we will see Jillian Prakaski lead off. But since she was injured on beam, Kentucky is going to hope to put 5 up and have 5 count. They moved everybody up in the lineup, so Mackenzie Wilson will be the de facto leadoff. She had a 9.75 in the 2 spot last week. Debuted with a 9.875 against Alabama, though. So she's capable of high scores. And this could really set the tone here for Kentucky.
Absolutely. Mackenzie's aware of that. And putting up 5 people, even though it's floor, it's a lot of pressure because you know those 5 have to hit. Excellent first pass, front through to double tuck. Great landing. Great position when she landed too. Her chest was up and it was controlled.
if you go by rankings, Arkansas also has a slight advantage because they're 13th in the country on beam. Kentucky is 16th in the country on floor. That does not necessarily translate to one meet, but something to keep in mind.
And also, Kentucky doesn't have a whole lot of three-pass routines either. So they know those tumbling passes that they do hit have to be hit so solidly and so controlled.
Well, Kentucky knows what it's capable of. Tim Garrison told us that they got a decent score last week of 197-125, but they're starting to tread water. They're capable of so much more, and they want to get back to the 197-825, those types of numbers that they put up against Alabama, the program record.
Yeah, that's what they're looking to do here. And to do that, they have to be aware of where they're at. They have to be controlled. They have to not take major deductions.
Bailey Lovett to follow up Gamyao's 9.85. Solid in the leadoff spot for Arkansas. Lovett has not been in the lineup since the third meet of the year. She is replacing Kennedy Hambrick this week. But don't let it fool you because she'd previously competed beam every meet the past 3 years. She is as much of a staple on beam as you can have for the gym backs.
Front aerial a little bit off there to the right side. And that front aerial actually is her series connected to the layout step out. So she didn't get credit for that. That's going to be a huge deduction because she's missing that element.
So right away, this is the score that Arkansas would love to drop. Arkansas still just trying to figure out this spot. You would think Kennedy Hambrick, it would be hers to take, but there's just been one thing pretty much in each routine that's held her back. But I mean, she's an all-arounder that's up with the best in the SEC when she's at the top of her game.
Absolutely. Good finish. Again, had that slight bobble on that front aerial layout step out, so she didn't get credit for that. Missing the series. Big deduction there.
Yeah, you can tell that she's a little bit disappointed there and has put some pressure on the remaining 4 gymnasts to go for Arkansas. Mackenzie Wilson's score came in at a 9.825, and now here's Ariana Patterson.
I love watching Ariana on floor because I feel like she really performs, plays it up to the crowd. She's making eye contact with the judges.
9.825, a good start for Kentucky, but they need to begin to build these scores as well. Only sending 5 gymnasts up at this moment. They are all going to count. Pressure is on the Wildcats, but it's something that they have dealt with time in and time out. They have come just shy of nationals the last 2 seasons. Kennedy, how aware of the plan are you if you're one of these Kentucky gymnasts that are going on floor knowing that it's only going to be 5 of us? This is our time.
You're very aware. I mean, you know what you have to do and what the team needs to get that score that you want, and you know that you have to hit well. It can't just be a couple bobbles. Everything has to be stuck and solid while giving a good performance.
That sounds simple.
Great control on that last pass.
Yeah, she did just that.
Beautiful performance from Ariana Patterson.
Kentucky's trying to make up a half-tenth difference coming into the final rotation.
Beautiful on her leaps, and she has more challenging leaps because she does that 2-pass routine. Last pass, great control, straight to the lunge, and a beautiful finish.
So after Bailey Lovett missed the combination, her score goes down as just a 9-1-2-5. Goes without saying, Arkansas does not want to count that at all. Kiara Gianfagna had a 9-8-2-5 last week. She was inserted into the lineup just 3 weeks ago. Gamya scored great. Lovett's the one you want to go away. Oh, no. Oh.
She's just slightly off, taking off for that layout step out to the side.
Waiting on Ariana Patterson's score, 110. And I believe that's it.
And actually, we had talked to head coach Jordan Weaver about this earlier. The Arkansas team is used to performing when 10s are announced because that adds another layer of pressure for the athletes. They can hear in the background the crowd going crazy or the team going crazy. Adds another element of pressure, but because they've dealt with this situation before, they're ready for it.
And so Patterson more than resets her career high. It was 9.875 coming into today by a 10. And also, let's reiterate, that was not Kentucky. Arkansas fell. That was just because they saw the 10.
Yes, they saw 110 and got super excited. It is exciting to get a 10, even if it's 110.
She knew it was going to be a big score. Thought maybe we would have seen those 2 digits up there for both judges, but one is pretty darn good in its own right.
It is, and Kentucky has a stellar floor lineup, so we could see a 10 like later down the lineup.
Oh,
maybe.
yes, absolutely. This is what we're talking about, building the scores. Well, they really did, from a 9.825 to a 9.975. And now here's Isabella Magnelli. So it's pretty simple for Kentucky with what happened with Arkansas in the last 2 gymnasts on beam. They hit here, this should be their beam.
If Kentucky hits now at this point, they should definitely come away with the win. But they do have to hit.
And again, it's about score at this point in the season as well. It's not just win-loss. They're looking for a high 197 to potentially replace in the NQS the 197.825, the program record against Alabama a few weeks ago.
Correct. Kentucky's not just looking for the win here. They're looking to get into that second session of SECs, and they have to have a high score. So they have to have high floor scores. Double pike, a little under-rotated. That's why she took that slight step forward, but I feel like she finessed it pretty well. Here she goes with that final tumbling run. And yeah, you can tell she was just a little under-rotated. You definitely want to show that you can take a controlled step back versus a controlled step forward, because that shows under-rotation versus if you go to the back, it shows that you had enough rotation to complete the pass.
That was sweet for Isabella, though, the routine as a whole. And actually, she has designed her own perfume by Scentcraft called Ciao Bella. Wants to go into the fashion industry. Maybe own her own boutique at some point.
She wants to be a stylist. She's a fashion icon.
And so Gianfagna's 9.2 will count. The 9.125 will go away at this point, but it's a massive hill to climb, really more of Everest at the moment for Arkansas. And now they're just trying to get the best possible score because they were set up for maybe even a high 197 if they were able to hit in this beam routine. Oh, no.
Again,
2 in a row.
Yeah, you could tell just from that first layout step out that she was kind of off. And when you're off in the first one, you'll definitely be off for the second one.
How much of that is the factor that you know what the pressure is like, and you just saw your teammate go down, and you know what Bailey's score was before that? Is that factoring into your mind?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Beam is all a mental game, and you are aware of it as much as you try to tune it out. You know what happened before you go up. So these athletes in their mind know what is going on and what they have to do, and it's pressure-filled. It's hard to fill that spot and that role of hitting. And the beam's only 4 inches wide, so it's tough.
This will probably end up being a learning experience for Arkansas as they head down the rest of the season. Yeah, you wonder if the pressure is just too much at that point. I mean, you know once the 9-1-2-5 goes, you need to hit. And then the 9-2 from Gianfagna, and you think, oh no, like, I really need to put a score together just to keep us in the meet.
Right.
And then maybe just too much on yourself.
Right.
All right, here's Haley Davis. Following up the 9-9 from Isabella Magnelli. Davis is capable of that, if not more. You're going to love this routine if you like 80s rock. That themed soundtrack in honor of her dad, who loved the genre, recently passed away this season, dedicated to him.
Beautiful opening pass there, double pike. Great control out of it. She's such a rock star on floor. You can tell she's having fun. She has the biggest smile, like the whole routine.
And now, as long as Kentucky can do what it usually does on floor, there's going to be a big party inside Memorial Coliseum tonight.
It's feeling like a dance party. I can see some of the crowd dancing along with their teammates.
Kentucky is very close to having a chance to set another program record. It just depends what Davis and Worley can do on floor, but they are on pace right now.
Last tumbling pass here, double tuck. Great landing. Excellent routine for Haley.
Lowest score at the moment is a 9.825 for Kentucky. They're going to have to count all of these scores, but if that's the lowest, you are doing something right with 2 9-9s in the middle. And so for Arkansas, 9-0 for Callie Swaney, which means the 9-1-2-5 and the 9-2 have to count. That maximum potential score has just dwindled so far. It's incredibly unfortunate. It really is. I think you have to call it as you see it. Arkansas had a chance to put up a huge number, and Beam just gets you sometimes.
It does, and once you kind of have 1 or 2 major mistakes, it's hard to pick it back up, pick that energy back up, and forget about the mistakes. It's challenging. Triple series here. Again, slightly off.
3 in a row. And Lovett did stay on the beam, but Cammie Weaver, after Gianfagna and Swaney, down to the floor. This is reminiscent, hold your ears, Gym Dogs fans, of what Georgia did last year.
Yeah.
And it's tough because this might be a weird comparison, but I think of like after you have surgery, how easy it is to lose muscle mass and how difficult it is to gain it back. It's so hard to put up those high 49, mid 49 scores in rotations, and it's so easy for this to happen.
That was a great comparison. I mean, yeah, it does feel like surgery a little bit. You lose the muscle mass. It's super hard to get it back, super hard to get that ball rolling again. Hopefully they can pick it up with Nora Flatley in the anchor spot.
And just try to salvage whatever they can, because it is a road meet, and if they can finish strong, potentially use this for NQS. Maybe not their highest road score, but they could use it. And now here's Serena Worley. She won floor with a 9-9 in the anchor spot last week. She is the only all-around gymnast, so by default she will win the all-around as well. And McKenna Clark has been added in, so she will officially be the anchor, hoping to use all 5 of those scores to start. Basically an exhibition in its own way, even though her score could count. Worley ranked 9th on floor, tied with Auburn's Suni Lee. That's some esteemed company. A 9.925 average.
Huge full in right there. She flies so high in the air. She has so much power. Even in the warm-up, in her timers, she just goes so high.
Reina has had 3 9.975s in her career. I'll leave her right there.
Beautiful front, full front layout stick. Straight into the choreography. Gearing up for this last pass here. It's been a great routine so far. Super good first pass. Great control on her second pass. Hopefully she can get it here on the third pass. Beautiful double tuck.
That's good.
Ooh. Are we looking at a 10? She winked at the judge.
Is that the first one in a storied career?
I don't know. I hope so. It felt good. It looked good. Her legs are glued together. Look at that control. You can tell she knew exactly where she was. Last pass here, double tuck, legs glued together. So excited by that. Look at head coach Tim Garrison in the back. He's pumped.
There is not a lot to deduct
They're
from
waiting
that
on the
routine
score.
from Reina Worley as Nora Flatley, that is, finishes out. Still waiting on Worley's score. Following up, Haley Davis's 9.925. I see 2 9.95s.
I love watching Nora on beam. She is so confident, so controlled. And it's not just the gymnastics, it's the choreography, the dance elements, the little things. Leg up turn to split jump, feet jump, beautiful. So fierce. In the beginning, she does this little head nod. I don't know if it's at the judge or if it's just at the crowd, but either way, we're tuned in. Dismount. Back handspring, 1.5. Beautiful stick. Finished well for Arkansas.
And so if you're just joining us and you look at the score and you think, wow, that's really lopsided. It was not that way. Arkansas had a half-tenth lead heading into the third rotation, but 9.125, 9.2, and then back-to-back 9.0s for Callie Swaney and Tammy Weaver have taken the gym bats right out of the competition. Now McKenna Clark will be in the anchor spot today for Kentucky. No pressure for McKenna Clark, but a 9.975 would give Kentucky their first ever 198. No pressure.
No pressure. Front double full.
Kentucky is going to win this seat. Only question is, what is the final score? At the moment, it's a 197.85, which goes down as a new program record. And it would mean, more importantly, that Kentucky can use the 197.825 that they had against Alabama, which was the previous program record that they set a few weeks ago.
Yes, and that sets them up better for the SEC second session, which is absolutely where they want to be.
Because it could be higher here if McKenna Clark scores better than 9.825. That score by Mackenzie Wilson can go away now that 6 gymnasts have competed on the floor for Kentucky.
Absolutely, and they're looking to get that higher score.
So it has turned into a very one-sided storyline by the end. But the Wildcats are just waiting to see. It's already been a record-setting night. Arkansas is going to lick their wounds, head home, and they'll host Missouri next weekend. And they got some work to do, certainly in the gym on beam.
Definitely working on beam, controlling those series, getting those landings under wraps so they can be prepared for the next home meet.
And this would have just felt so different had it not been for that final rotation. And they could not have had more momentum heading to beam, too.
They were in a great spot, but it always all comes down to beam.
It seems that way. Jillian Prakaski, who was injured on beam, that's the reason she wasn't the leadoff on floor. Hopefully she is okay, and this is just a minor blip in the road. And with the 9.85 from McKenna Clark, it is a new program record of 197.875 for Kentucky. It is their 5th of the last 6 meets being over 197. And we mentioned 197.125 for this program is not normal anymore. It's not good enough. We see why. Tim Garrison said that his program's capable of a 198. Just missed it tonight. But a new program record of 197.875 ain't half bad. Kennedy and I are back to wrap it up. Big win, big score for the Wildcats at home.